So welcome back to another episode of the Disruption Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Noor.
It's Chief Sergeant in the building, baby.
It's your girl Moeezy.
And you got the Prince. Was good.
Yep.
Joined by a very special guest today, Daniel Elia.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for having me.
What's up, man?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming through. Yo, this is a mad early shoot. I feel like this might be one of the earliest.
early.
It's not even like that early.
This is the earliest
Yeah,
guest
bro.
shoot we've ever had.
Yeah.
For sure.
And my guys on
Why you
time.
gotta do me like that? I just woke up too, man. And I drove all the way from Noble too.
You know what's crazy? We've been trying to set this up too.
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
a minute.
man.
It's been a minute. You know?
Yeah, hey, this is how.
facts.
You tell us from your perspective. How bad is
that's
this guy
crazy.
communicating in terms
Hey,
of
be honest,
organizing?
we were both playing dumb.
Yeah. He's lucky because it worked out well. Like
Yeah.
he would message, I wouldn't see it until the next day.
Yeah.
I would message, you wouldn't see it until the next day. So I'm like, it's
So
calm.
you're both acting hot.
Exactly.
So we're both acting hard. And
It
then,
worked out.
And then this day was just perfect for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was
That's
meant to
good.
be for
It was
today.
It's dope, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know everything worked out for us too. So it's like, yeah, man, let's send it right now before we all start. You know, put some other weird things
Exactly,
in the mix.
bro,
So,
exactly.
How's the
thank you for coming
weekend,
through.
How's the weekend? It's good. Like I didn't do much, man. I've been partying like the past few weekends too
Yeah.
much, man. Like Trusillo, Let's Vibe was
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Oh, you went down.
Yeah, I went to both
sick,
of them.
yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, but yeah, I'm over partying, man. I'm too tired now. I'm trying to focus on some more music stuff.
Yeah,
Bro. Yeah, partying is too much. man.
Different experience completely. We're mad tired because we just been shooting.
Yeah. We even told ourselves Saturday night where we'll
We're
go
gonna
out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Saturday night, we're like, yeah, stay in. Inside is where it is.
Yeah.
legit,
Inside's the
man.
movie.
But
Yeah,
we put a movie on and I passed out 20 minutes into it. I was like, I want to go upstairs.
yeah,
Coming
man.
to America too. Have you watched it yet?
Nah, I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Ah.
I heard it was bad.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. So we're not just like heavy
Yeah.
critics, because
Yeah,
bro,
Yeah.
man, it was unwatchable, bro.
Big
Really?
budget,
Okay.
and everyone decided let's not act good today.
Does it? Was it even big budget?
Yeah, actually, I don't know. When you see Michael Blackson, that means low budget.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
Can I tell you something weird about that?
Yeah.
Like a year ago, I got an email from this like agency
Yeah.
saying if I wanted to fly to America to be in Coming to America too.
Did us?
I'm not gonna lie, I can show you the email. Like I saw the email, I'm like, Coming to America too.
Like in your head, because then it didn't. It wasn't
I'm
out
like,
like
yeah,
that.
I thought it was a scam or something.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, the movie comes out.
Nah.
So you never replied to the email?
I never replied to the email because it was a bit sus.
You know them ones.
It was a
Yeah.
little sus. It was like, oh, deposit this money and then you
Yeah.
fly there,
Murphy,
accommodation, and then we'll pay you.
But
I
it's
was like,
interesting.
nah.
It's like low key. Who would have thought to just think of that as a scam? Like, you know, coming to America
Exactly.
too. It's
Yeah.
kind of random. It's like that.
It's so
Low key
random,
could have
yeah.
probably been legit.
Exactly, because there was no press about it, nothing.
Yeah.
Like it just came out of nowhere.
It kind of did. It kind of did.
No, we could have seen
Crazy,
you up
bro.
on the big screen
Hey
with
man, I
all them
could have.
guys.
No, you could have been Michael Blackson.
Rick Ross
I
Manson
could
and
have been
everything.
Michael Blackson.
Prince
man.
Hakeem 2.0.
They could have had me for longer than Michael Blackson, bro. Like, you know, because they could afford me. You know, like
Nah,
crazy,
that's sick,
bro.
man. Nah, I guess I mean, we don't really like to dwell in the past and stuff like that in terms of what going last year, but
Yeah.
you know, last year was a different experience for a whole lot of different people and stuff like that. You said you're trying to focus on music and stuff.
Yeah.
Now you've had a busy couple of weekends.
Yeah.
I guess what was last year like for you? Maybe as an artist, for you as yourself, and just in general, man. What was the take on it?
man, that's a big question.
It is. Take your time to
yeah,
unpack
yeah,
it.
I'm trying to hear everything, bro.
Oh man, everything. Okay, cool. So in terms of being an artist, I think like last year was like it was very different. Like obviously the world was shifting. There was no gigs. I couldn't go out to studios. But lucky I had like my own home studio, so I was like constantly recording. But even that, just being at home, like it does a lot for you, like your mental. Like you just feel trapped. Like even though you can go out for walks and stuff like that, you still couldn't do the things that you would normally do, like working and stuff like that. So it was quiet. I couldn't produce a lot of the music that I wanted to do. Personally as well, that I was affected because I couldn't really see my family as much as well because I lived out of home. But yeah, man, it was just this weird thing. Like I'm usually like the type of person who can like, stay alone. I can kind of do stuff by myself. Like I don't need people around me most of the time. But when COVID hit, lockdown hit, stage 4, it was just so weird. It was like
It was tough.
like, yeah, it was like shit. Like I want to hang out with people. Like I want to go out. I want to go to the studio and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just to kind of sum it up. Yeah.
I think that's one thing with COVID. It's like you realize finally, like nobody's fully introverted, nobody's fully extroverted. Everyone's somewhere
100%.
on a spectrum of things.
Yeah.
It's like everyone that's like I'm introverted, and suddenly it's like I really want to go out. Things
Exactly.
opened up. That I'm out.
Exactly.
And the guys that were super extroverted were also like, I kind of enjoyed being home a little bit and all that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, because it made you like realize all the little things that you were taking for granted,
let's run it back, like back in the days.
Oh shit!
Because I know I used to be a dancer.
Oh shit! What's up? Wait, man. What?
My guy had his own crew too.
Oh man, let's do it. Let's go.
So you guys perform like, yo, this guy's gonna go far with this thing,
man.
And the next thing I heard you doing music and you don't dance anymore,
bro. That's another journey too.
What's up with that transition there,
man? So that dance crew fully ended, or officially ended, like 2019. No, sorry, 2012. That was right after we did this big festival concert called Superfest. So we did that, and that was amazing. But like the management and everything, we didn't actually get paid for that. Like we toured to Brisbane, Sydney, Perth. Did Melbourne as well.
Yeah. How old were you when that was?
I was like 18. Okay. Yeah, and everyone else was like underage. But we were traveling. We slept in hotels and shit like that. So we felt like we were like famous, like we made it, But we weren't getting paid. But we didn't really do it for the money. But we could have at least got paid for all the hard work. Yeah, exactly. Because they made so much money, like crazy. Wow. But yeah, that ended, and then they just kind of disappeared. The management who did Superfest. And then from there, everyone was growing up, like, finishing high school and stuff like that. And yeah, everyone just kind of, naturally just went their own separate ways. And from there, I just kind of picked up music because I had a laptop, and I just thought, I still want to do music, but I don't really want to dance anymore. So yeah, I just started like rapping on my little laptop, and then that's it. Then now we sort of here.
Are you still in contact with the dance crew?
Yeah. All the boys, like, we're still so close. Yeah. Like, we still hang out and stuff. And funny enough, they're all doing music as well. Oh, nice. Yeah, like, we all transitioned from dancing. Yeah. It's crazy.
You should see them performing. These guys are doing backflips, doing this. And I was like, yo.
Can't do that right now with my back.
It ain't insane no more.
Yeah, I ain't young no more,
Nah, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's pretty interesting though, like how, you can be with a group of friends and you all are doing one thing and doing very well at it. Exactly. And then you split up and you start doing your own thing, or maybe you guys shift to something different. It's like, how do you ever really know which one to pursue? When it's like you're doing something is doing well, like there's really no reason for it to change if it's the blueprint is there. Like, how do you know that you should now shift your focus to something else, and how do you know it's the right decision to make?
Yeah, I think for me, it was like, because I hated like speaking on the mic. Like I tried it a few times when I was like 17 or whatever, because all my friends would rap, and I was like it's not for me. Like, I'm just a dancer. Because I was a really shy person back then too. I was very quiet. But being on that stage and then seeing like T-Pain live from the backstage, or seeing R. Kelly. I mean, not R. Kelly. Kelly Rowland. I can see how you can do that. Yeah. Kelly Rowland, yeah, exactly. But yeah, even like Trey Songz and stuff like that, seeing them perform, it almost like being an artist gave me the same feeling as I would get being a dancer. Yeah. Because you're still on stage, you're still expressing yourself, and you're still engaging with the audience. And I feel like at that moment, subconsciously, I decided that, okay, I'm gonna try like music. Yeah. If dancing doesn't go further than this, Do
you think sometimes like dancing could have gone a lot further if you guys stuck together and said, okay, whatever with management, let's just do our own thing? Has that ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes. It definitely could have. Like, we could have, became bigger than Superfest. Like, we could have done, because we've done heaps of shows, like, from the west side, western suburbs to north, southeast, like everywhere. We've just been traveling. But yeah, we could have definitely taken it further. But it was just like, I think maybe if we were to go overseas, go to another country, then we could have done it there. Yeah. But in terms of being a dancer in like Melbourne, I feel like there's that glass ceiling,
cap almost,
exactly, with everything else, in Melbourne, Australia as well. Yeah.
It's true. But there's no like resentment on your end that it didn't go where it could have, like, because like, are you at a point where you're like, no, I'm happy that I chose music instead?
Yeah. Because no, I want to be honest. I want to be full transparent. Like, I think part of me wishes that, like, part of me still wants to dance. Like, I still want to be in a crew. Yeah. But it's not that deep anymore. You know what I mean? Like, when I said goodbye to dancing, it was like sort of this like sad thing. Like, it was this sad moment.
Put up the jacket
exactly
for the last time.
That's it, bro. Hall of Fame. Exactly, because I've been dancing since I was 8 years old. Wow. So it was the only thing that I knew. So transitioning into like music, it was it felt like a new love, because it was like, okay, I'm figuring out this new thing that's quite similar to dancing. But it was also like I'm saying goodbye to all the memories and things like that. But yeah, I think at the moment I'm quite satisfied with the decision that I made, being the person I am now and seeing the growth as well, being a musician.
What's the, like, do you find there's it's tough because you obviously did dancing and music at very different ages, right? So it's like, but there's the fact of you were in a crew and now you're solo.
Yeah.
Is it more fun creatively being solo, but more tiring as well, or the other way around? Well,
yeah. So funny enough, because I used to be like the choreographer in the dance crew, so I would spend a lot of time coming up with the routines, mixing the songs.
Okay.
So with music, it kind of felt like that solo part is still there. Like I'm still creating stuff alone. That's cool. But I don't have people to sort of like share the stage with. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's definitely more exhausting being a musician by yourself. Like, you know, I had to go from just learning to rap to producing because I couldn't find a producer. Then I had to, you know, go and study audio engineering because I couldn't find an engineer to mix my music. And then now I'm like, you know, being on stage and stuff like that, I had to sort of like, teach myself all these different roles because I couldn't find the people. And now I'm just in the position where I know all these things. I can either be an engineer or producer, or I can just be the artist and write lyrics.
I mean, you kind of mentioned about like the glass ceiling that we kind of have in Melbourne. I mean, I hear quite a lot of people actually do say that, and it's like it's a very common theme. I don't like, I'll say Melbourne specifically, not necessarily Australia. Yeah, it's quite a common theme that I hear. And why do we think that is? Like, why do we feel that there is this glass ceiling? I mean, first of all, do you think there is? And like, why do we think there's one there?
Yeah, I mean, I think because like the fact is, like, you know, Australia is just behind, you know, from the other big countries like America and, you know, Europe. Like we're just behind regardless. And so that. And also, so that means that it's a small industry, whether it's music, whether it's even like, you know, just the creative industry itself. There's still a lot, like there's not a lot of platforms that are there to cater for this, the type of content we create. And that's why there's a glass ceiling, because when you look at festivals, they're mainly just like bands that are on stage. You don't really see
like solo acts or even duos and things like that.
Exactly. Like you don't see like artists that we know from our area on a big stage like that. Even in like movies, you don't see actors that, you know, that we know that are in movies. You know what I mean? Like Neighbours, for example. How long they've been running for? I haven't seen one black person on there, you know, that I know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of stuff. Like, it's not as progressive as it needs to be. You know.
I have a question with this, because I think that this Daniel is gonna get really confusing for audio listeners. Back to Coming to America, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who was asking Daniel Kaluuya because of the Judas and the Black Messiah.
They're
like, how do you feel about people saying it should have been a African American, right? Doing a role like this. And I was watching and I was like thinking, well, shouldn't Africans be annoyed at Eddie Murphy for doing the voice for Prince Hakeem and all this stuff? Do you feel like that kind of movie should have actual Africans in it?
Not really, no. I mean, like I think
it's cool. It's just acting, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's like you will always find something to pick on. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Actual Africans could have played it. Like it could have been dope as well. You know what I mean? But again, you look at if you're looking at things professionally, there's obviously the experience and captivating audience, things like that. Even like with the Beyonce album, Black is Beautiful. Like people complain about the fact that she didn't like hire a lot of African artists, who was mostly like West African artists. Yeah. Again, like you can definitely like, you know, compliment on that. Like you can comment on that and say that, she could have gone through the continent of Africa and picked, you know what I mean? Like, cause there's so many artists, you know? It's just one of those things. I feel like regardless, you know, as long as the image is portrayed well, then, you know, we're going to receive it a certain way. Yeah.
So you're kind of a believer in like, just let the art stand for itself. Don't, not necessarily say don't look at what has gone on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of do have to sometimes, but it's like, if the art conveys the image that it's meant to, or the message it's meant to, then just look at that, because that's what it's, you know, it's intended to.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Because I think it's what Umar Johnson was like flaming Daniel Kaluuya about, like, You know, I don't want to see a brother with that British tongues, you know, talking on our lived experience.
Might be the angriest guy in the world.
The angriest guy in the world.
Like
in the world even.
Yeah.
But it's like, it was interesting because then I was looking through the comments. I love doing my comment dives and stuff like things like this. Comments are like, yo, you're speaking with an American accent right now. It's like, you can't
how
even,
we should all,
about how we should, we should, you know, hold our African. It's like, bro, you're speaking with an African accent, American accent. So what are you talking about?
What if that takes away the opportunity for Africans to play a role? If that makes sense. Let's say the role is limited and you got Africans actually applying for that role, and you got like African Americans applying for that role, but you got African Americans who are getting that role.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Because now you got actually Africans that's actually wanting that role. So why would you pick an African American?
Exactly. True. I see that. But I mean, there's that side of like, this is a sequel, so we're gonna get the same main actor. That's one thing. But I mean, we can look at the extras and see, okay, did they cater to, you know, African actors, you know, to place them in, you know, being extras, or did they just kind of like just pick
like Black Panther?
Also the tough side of like this at the end of the day, regardless, is about money.
Exactly.
Right? Like you need to make a return on this. So we need Eddie Murphy. We need Michael Blackson. We need
that's
whoever else. Those are names.
Rotimi.
That was the most. When he comes on the scene, it's like, yo.
I think we're giving away a lot.
Yeah, we are.
Giving away much.
You don't want to watch it anyway.
It's like Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like the extras, and not the extras, but like the supporters, cast supporters or whatever. It's like damn. Like it's cool that they're there, if that kind of makes sense. Like you're not African, but you're well known. And I want to watch that movie because of you, if that kind of makes sense. So I do see where you're coming from when you're talking about money. It does bring you money, man.
Yeah, I think they were just lazy with the production of this movie. Like, I haven't even seen it, but I'm just like, nah.
You can just get the vibe.
They just wanted to make quick money, but they failed.
This is one part. So the transition from one scene to another, I said, nah, that's enough. Legit black screen and then different scene. I was like,
still just a little bit of green screen in the corner.
Bro.
That they forgot to edit.
Bro, I was like, nah.
I also kind of think though, like creatively, I feel like there's always a really tough. I mean, you can kind of speak on this from, you know, your perspective afterwards. I feel like whenever. Let me run through where the heck my mind is at right now. Yeah.
Bro.
Okay. So like, we're talking. You know, we might be taking opportunities away from people who actually come from this experience to, you know, to be able to actually, you know, do their part to voice it and stuff like that. But it's like, you need to create that market firstly, sometimes as well, to like Black Panther, right? The first major like
create a demand for it.
Yeah, the first major like, you know, African predominantly superhero kind of film. That popped off, right? Obviously it's Marvel, you know, it's gonna pop off, but it's like the fact that they did it with like, you know, this is Africa is like beautiful. So they created the market for that, and a lot of those actors actually weren't African, like they're African American, African British and things like that. But it's like a lot of them weren't necessarily African, you know. But it's like that. Those were familiar faces that creates the hype, the demand. It's like now there's a market for this content to be consumed. So it's like the next time you want to do something like that, people are like, when I saw that, it was kind of dope. Because I mean, it's sad that it takes you showing the, you know, the commercialized version of something first before people get used to it. Like people don't just give content a chance.
Exactly.
But it's like, that's the world we live in. You kind of have to do that. So what I'm saying is like, I feel like with content creation and stuff, sometimes the beginning stages before you make something, like before something becomes like dope, it's a bit sticky sometimes, you know. Like if you want to talk about Afro beats right now, you know, it's like now it's popping. Like anyone's listening, and they're listening to like the deep Afro beats now. You know, people are listening to Donnies that are like deep in Ghana, deep in Nigeria, deep in, you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily just the main names anymore, but it's like in the beginning it would have to be the people that are like big and they're doing collabs with, you know, like, Drake, you know, mainstream artists and stuff. It's like, oh, yo, why aren't you collabing with blah, blah, blah? But it's like, no, the beginning of these eras are tough. So I guess for you, have you ever like kind of felt that in terms of the music you've created or the content you've created here where it's been tough in the beginning for people to actually like receive it or like, you know, digest what you're trying to create?
Exactly. For me, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Like in terms of like, Afro beats and stuff, like we were so used to like Sean Paul, Sean Kingston, like those were like the Afro beats that we had as a mainstream, you know what I mean? But now you look at kids like, you know, what's his name, WizKid and things like that. You know, like because Africa is trending. Like that's exactly what it is. Like people are now focused on Africa because they realize there's more content. But for me, being like, I guess being a Sudanese artist in Australia with an American accent, there's layers to it.
Hey, where's the American accent from? I was gonna ask you.
Just growing up watching a lot of movies. Like when I was like, since I was like 5 years old, I used to watch a lot of movies. Like I didn't know how to speak English, but I was like, I knew like the accent. Like I could, you know, I could hear it. And then coming here, learning English, I found certain words, I pronounce certain words in an American way.
Right.
If I was to pronounce it in like an Aussie way, it'll sound like I have broken English. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to sound like that. So, so there's that layer. And then even my content is different. Like I'm not rapping about hardcore gangster stuff. Like I'm just like, whatever that's happening in my life, that's what I'm gonna put on the music. And so, yeah, creatively, I think it's hard because the audience here is still getting used to Sudanese artists or African artists in general, whether they're rapping, singing, or whatever. They're still getting used to that. And it again, like you said, like it needs to be promoted on a mainstream level for people here to digest it. Yeah. If it's just a local or emerging level, they're not really gonna respond to it that well. But I look at artists like Samba the Great, you know, but then like she kind of left Australia. She's not representing Australia that much, you know what I mean? So when people look at her, they see her as like, you know, an artist from Africa, not Australia.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so I look at artists like Manny Crooks, for example, and he's in Sydney and he's sort of like, I guess, representing where he's from, which is Sydney. And then you look at Melbourne, and Melbourne has so much potential, but then at the same time, there's a big gap between artists collaborating and creating something like really solid, you know. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of layers.
I've always had this thought, right? Like, why do artists that are at the bubbling level where it's like everyone, like I feel like for the most part, anyone who goes out, whatever, has heard of you, has heard of other people that we've had on the podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
Why don't all of you guys come together and go, hey, let's do a festival?
Yeah.
And it'll be affordable.
Crazy, right? Yeah.
We won't make much money off it, but it'll just be a vibe. Yeah. We'll help you curate it. We'll
get everyone.
But like that, it's just an idea. Like I feel like that would be dope because it's like, okay, now there's a big stage because everyone's gonna pull money together. Everyone's gonna whatever, get sponsors, get that kind of thing. But it's like because the opportunities might not come from a Sampa. You know what I mean? Like it because she's doing bigger things now. You know, and it's like that's fair enough. But
and everyone's gonna be like, "What's going on there?"
Yeah, and it's something, you know, Melbourne becomes something, and
it's gonna become something because there's a lot of artists, there's a lot of dancers, spoken word, everything is growing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
block party.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a great idea. A lot of people, a lot of artists. I've had so many conversations with a lot of artists. But the funny thing about that is only when we're both lit. That's when we talk about yo, man, we got to do this. We got to do that.
I love you, bro.
Yo, man, I love you, man. Hey, man, I heard like that's and then you know throughout the weekdays it's quiet. Like you know what I mean? Like, but I'm the type of person like if I say that, I'm riding all the way out. You know what I mean? Like, but that, like I've had those encounters so many times, and I know all these artists. Even to just collaborate in a studio, that's hard. You know,
are you a more collaborative person? Like you would rather have more songwriters around and more this and that around?
Yeah, it really depends on what stage of the song I'm at. Like if I'm starting it from scratch, I'd rather do it by myself. Okay. Yeah. But in terms of collaboration, I think I can hear another artist's voice on a beat that I'm making. Yeah, you know, like that's how well in tuned I am with like the artists here. So I'm always like trying to collaborate, but again, it's just so hard to like collaborate with artists because everyone's got their own little niche, like own little cliques and stuff like that. And that's the only reason why the collaboration, even a big festival with, you know, all Melbourne artists isn't happening because people just stick to their cliques and that's it. Like, you know, if they don't know me or if they haven't met me, they wouldn't really want to collaborate in terms of like just for the content.
That's facts.
It's more so like, oh, I know you, we're friends, we've known each other for years, so we're going to collaborate, you know? Yeah. But I don't really know you, I only know you as an artist. I don't know if I want to collaborate kind of thing. Yeah. But it feels like slowly that's sort of marinating and like it feels like artists are actually trying to, you know, take that initiative and actually like make something happen. But it's just so slow. Like it's 2021, you know? It should have happened a long time ago, you know? Yeah.
I mean, what kind of style of music do you like put out then? You know.
Yeah. It depends because it's like very different. I would say mostly just like trap influence sort of stuff. So like 808s and stuff. But I do a bit of like singing on it and like rapping and stuff like that. So it kind of feels like it's R&B at the same time. Yeah, just like around that kind of genre and that sound. But in terms of producing for like or working with other artists, I'm able to like sort of curate like a beat around the artist that I'm working with. Whether they do dance hall or whatever, I'm able to sort of create that because I have that producer side. Yeah.
You recently, you.
So big man, I ran into you when? Is that start of this year or last year?
I think it was end of last year. Must have been end of last year.
Yeah. And you told me you're gonna drop a music video, man.
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh, you did already?
No. I mean, did I tell you that? I told you that?
Yeah, you showed me this, that, bro. I've been refreshing.
It's not loading. Why is it not there?
Hey, what's going on? I got YouTube, nothing there. I got Instagram page,
bro,
nothing
you did
there.
the work, man. Facts.
Because bro, when you showed me that, bro, the hype was beautiful, bro. Like the guy showed me like a snippet, showed me like first. I'm like,
thank you, bro.
This guy really put in that work, man. Got like a nice mansion for the music video.
Bro.
Got dances, got the clothing, and I was like,
even like what you've released so far, because I'll get into it as well. Something I saw what you've released so far, like in terms of like, bro, people don't even realize how much like that. Just the post, the photo with that, the font, everything, the layers to that.
Showed me that, and I was like, "This is artistic."
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what you get. You're like, "This is artistic."
Like, this guy perfected the craft, bro. Like when I see those things, I'm like, this guy. Like what you're saying, you did the sound engineering stuff. You're doing this, and then now you're doing this whole video thing by yourself, bro. Yeah. And I was reading the caption. I was just telling these guys before, and we're just like looking through, and you're like, "This is your biggest accomplishment."
Bro, facts. Yeah.
How's that different? How's that music video? Because you did like his music videos as well. You did like
there's ones that I haven't even uploaded.
Yeah, and you also dropped like a lot of stuff as well. How is this different from all the other stuff that you've done? What makes this on a whole other level?
Yeah, I think it's firstly, I think it's the level of confidence that I have as an artist. The one thing is like not a lot of people think about is there's this like illusion where you go from being the mate who makes music or Daniel from Melbourne who makes music to Daniel Elia. You know what I mean? Like that illusion. And I feel like with this music video dropping, that's me shifting from just being the person who makes music to actually being the artist.
Yeah, okay.
Because like dropping this video will be like, I don't know, my 8th music video or something. And this year is like my 7th year of like making music like every day, like every month. So it definitely like, it feels like if I was, and this is probably going to be a weird like analogy, but if I was like planting a like, you know, like a flower or something, this year is like when that flower is coming out of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it's like I've been watering it, but nothing came out. Like, you know, like did I plant this seed properly or like what? You know,
man, I testing the soil.
Exactly.
What's going on?
Man,
Like, stole this.
Bro, is the seed still here?
Exactly. So like it feels like now that growth is finally showcasing itself. Even the reception is different in terms of how I promoted it. It's always the same. Like I just do it whenever I want through my phone. But then now people are more receptive to it because the quality of the music video, you know, is at a level. The voice, you know, the mixing, even the beat. I make the beat as well. Like it's just everything's leveled up, and people notice that. But it's like in the background, like it's. You know, the pocket is kind of weak right now. Like the pocket is empty, you know?
I was going to say, give us a little walkthrough,
man,
how that happened, the idea of this music video and what you had to do to make it happen.
Of course. Firstly, it's like a lot of stressing. It's like, okay, can I achieve this? You know, okay, what do I want? So I listen to the song and usually the song gives me an idea. Obviously, you have like references and stuff like that. All my music video ideas, they start off with me. Like I have to come up with what is the, I guess, the underlining story? Like, where do I want this video to go and what do I want to showcase? Once I do that, then I speak to the director and then I think about the budget, whether I can achieve it. Because I never look for grants, so I don't have a manager or anything. So it's always just like me consulting myself and seeing if, if I'm going to get paid 4 months from now and if I'm like saving all this money, can I achieve this budget? That kind of thing. And then you set a date and then you just like try to make sure everything aligns on the day of the shoot. Like, you know, extras coming up, mansion looking the way that it looked on the photos. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
true.
yeah, like crazy stuff like that. Or even making sure that I have, because I style myself for that video. Making sure I do that as well. Like making sure, okay, like I usually take photos like a week before the shoot just to see, okay, does this fit look how I want it to look? Little things like that, but it's just like now it's becoming second nature because I've done it so much. But it's just like the quality is just sort of increased.
That's the thing. Like at the end, people see the product, music video, very nice, right? Thumbs up, maybe a comment, share it. Hopefully, yeah. No one realizes how much of it is like you literally do, because at this stage there is no crew, there is no you know, stylist, there is none of that, and so it's like so you'll be driving like, oh, I got to pick up this shirt, I got to go get this camera, and it's like a million things in your mind. No one sees that side, but it is inspiring to see artists that care about art. You know, like I always have I love music. I don't make it, but it's like I love it, and I always have loved like artists that it's like you can see them and it's like they live for this. You know, so it's almost like an athlete that like a Kobe or Michael Jordan or LeBron, where you're like, yeah, you live for this, and it's so much more fun than watching JR for that reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's like, yeah, he's cool, he's whatever, but he's just here to make money, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Seeing an artist that's like, I love doing this is like refreshing, because I've said this to these guys before. Like, there's people that's like, you're okay at this, but it's very boring knowing you don't really care about music.
Exactly.
You know,
you just do it for
like,
the hype.
It's uncomfortable.
Exactly.
It feels fraud. You know? It's fraud.
But it doesn't matter if they're good at it.
Well, the thing is, like, financially, it'll work for them. If you're good at something and you know, it's just a natural talent, whatever, but you don't care about it. Yeah, cool, it'll work for you. But as far as how I perceive you, once I know that, I'm like, yeah, it's a bit corny.
You're right. That's interesting. I feel you. I think, like, you know, like, these days, people, you know, if the music is good, they're just gonna like the music and then separate the artist from or whoever that person is from the music. You know.
How do you feel as an artist that that's the case though?
Because this is gonna bring us into a really good conversation about 6ix9ine.
Let's go.
But
no. I can dive into the. Actually, hold that. Because I want to ask a question right now. So this is very, very different in terms of where you're at. In terms of you, even as a person. Not even necessarily the traction that you're feeling from people, but just where you feel as an artist right now. This is very different, yeah. 100%. I mean, you've put up this caption, and you know what you're on about.
Let's see.
You know what you're on about.
We do homework. Is this what you mean by nothing off limits?
It was up, so I said bet.
Let's go.
Now, literally, it's fresh,
let's
bro.
unpack this.
It's fresh. This is not that long ago. I won't read all of it, obviously.
I don't even know what it is.
You know, it's about this music video right now. I mean, you in 3 years ago, I moved out of my parents' house. Not gonna lie, I went through hell from a 5-year relationship ending to living alone and not having a job to now working at one of the best retail jobs. Throughout all that stuff I went through, I managed to drop an album. Pronounce that for me, bro.
Yeah.
Themenia.
Yeah, that's it, man. You got it.
I dropped 5 music videos that I paid for out of my own pocket. I thought I would come back to my parents' house a loser and not have any accomplishments because the obstacles were hard to overcome and the pain was hard to bear. I'm back in my mom's house now. I look back at what I've done and I'm proud of the person I am. I'm just gonna read all of it, bro, because it's nice.
I was gonna say this guy's nice, right? I'm not gonna read all of it.
I'm proud of.
He's very done, bro.
I'm proud of the things I've done. I'm proud of myself for staying whilst doing right by people, even though it's not always reciprocal. I'm always very proud of this upcoming music video. I'm also very proud of this upcoming music video. It's one of my highest accomplishments, hence why the long paragraph. It truly highlights the journey I've been through. Thanks to the team. Debate coming soon.
Damn,
bro. So there's a lot of different elements and angles of why this is what it is for you kind of now, you know. So you talk about, you know, moving out of your parents' house. You thought you were going to come back one way, you're coming back a different way. Coming out of a relationship, you know, and you know, now working in a job that you like as well. Collaborating with people, not necessarily getting the love back. I mean, talk on whatever angle of that you want to talk from. But how did that contribute to where you're at now? So I mean, start wherever you want with that,
man. It's a lot. I don't know if you guys have the time.
We got time, bro.
You got time. Okay,
just listen.
All right, bet. And you can stop me and ask questions in between as well. Pretty much moving out of my parents' house. 3 years ago, it was just it was a decision that I thought was going to be easy. I thought, all right, cool, I'll just move out. I'm old enough. I can look after myself, things like that. That was one reason. And also to focus on like music, to have my own space, my own privacy. Because, I feel like I sacrifice a lot of things for music, whether it's, leaving my parents' house or, not focused on the relationship that I was in. Like it was just a lot of things that I sacrificed for music, because it's just moving forward, always moving forward. And part of moving out as well, like, I was in like a 5-year relationship, and I always talk about it online, moving out to accommodate for that. And then, like 3 years later or 4 years later, that not working out. And then it's like, damn, like you kind of like go through all this, like experiences. And it's also like, I just wasted my time. Like I was going to marry this person, you know what I mean? And that's what the whole album, that was the birth of the whole album. Because of that breakup, that birthed the album as well. So during the moment of like having to go through that experience of like a breakup, I was able to produce this album, like being in pain, I was able to like make songs. Like no one wants to do something when you're like in pain. You just want to like chill, whatever, like, eat ice cream, whatever, some cliche shit, like you just do whatever. But I was like, all right, if this is the pain I feel, then I'm going to convey that in the music. And that's that sacrifice again. Like I didn't even have a moment to like let that shit sink in. I was like, all right, bet, this is how I feel. I'm going to make this song. I'm going to make that song. And then boom, an album just kind of came about. Yeah.
So it's like,
there's a lot of shit.
That attitude has the potential to be, it's healing or toxic towards yourself. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, I see
like,
that.
I'm just going to go work. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? It's like, you might be a workaholic.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also could be like, this makes me feel better. And it's fine. That's like genuinely fine.
Exactly. I think in the process of creating music and not paying attention to those, the pain, I think that's a bit toxic, but
if you're venting it through the music.
Exactly. When you've got the completion of the song, you listen back to it, that's a form of healing. It's like therapeutic.
It's a journal almost even.
Exactly. It's like, you're having like a therapy session, and you're just saying all those things that you feel. So that's one element of that journey. And then, just being out of my parents' house, feeling that distance. I remember like, I think the first year or something like that, like my brother-in-law was like, yo, like your mom was so sad when you left. I was like, what? Like that like broke my heart. Cause I'm like, she would never say that to me. She's like a tough cookie, So like hearing that, I was like, damn, I got to come back. But I also knew that not yet. Like I still got to get some stuff done before I go back. And just like being out of your parents' house, you're like learning responsibility, paying bills, all those little things, just the personal things. Like shit that you just kind of like, you go through it and you learn, and then you realize that, it's much easier just being at home, at your family house,
For sure.
Yeah. Like,
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
it's cheaper, bro. Exactly. But like through all those things happening within like the 3 years, I was able to still make time to like produce, make music, source out, directors and make those music videos that I have up online. And I think, and every day I just felt like stopping music. Like, until now, I just want to quit. But like, I'm just like, nah, like, because I can see the light, like, it's close, but it's also too far. Like, you don't know what that distance is. You're just kind of chasing it,
I was going to ask it. I'm going to ask it now. Can you put it up? Too. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting how, like for you, writing the music or the process of creating the music can become that, therapeutic thing. And it's almost like you're journaling down your thoughts and what's going on in your mind. It's interesting to think that because a lot of people, we don't ever actually have a record of the thoughts that we think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like our brains are interesting because it's very good at compensating. It's very good, like our minds even very good at compensating, very good at learning how to cope and just like adapt to certain situations. So I was actually talking to a friend, like I think it was like mid-COVID lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. We're going on a walk and we're just talking. He was talking about his mental health and like he's been going through this stuff for a bit. And I was like, yo, we don't even realize when we get to a point of like negative thought patterns and stuff because, from thinking something regularly, here and there, thinking about something. Our brains, even though it's not necessarily the greatest thing for us to be, thinking about, or bad behaviors, our brains and our mind is good at like, all right, this is just where we're at. Let's try to just do the best we can. Exactly. And you don't realize once you get to a point of just you're in a deep hole. Like that's why people sometimes they say they just wake up and they feel a certain way sometimes. Exactly. Like we've just gotten used to coping with these bad behaviors, bad thought patterns. Yeah. And like, our brain just deals with it, right? But for you to be able to listen back to what you're actually thinking, to have a record of what you're thinking and what you're thinking at a certain point in life, it's like that's very, very different to what most people do. Most people don't really journal down their thoughts. Most people don't have blogs.
Kind of like stay away.
Most people don't talk to like even if you do talk to your friends, sometimes you don't even have that friend that's going to bring that conversation back up again. Exactly. So it's like we don't recognize just how much we think about certain things or how much we're pondering on things. We don't even see the transition of how we grow as individuals sometimes in the way we think about things. So it's really, really different to most people's experience to actually have that as a record, a track record of looking at how you've been thinking. And it's like we don't even recognize that for other artists. Like we always talk about this. You listen to like Future or something, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. The guy's crying out for help sometimes, bro. You know what I mean? Like, some of the things that you hear, it's like we sing
like,
to it.
We made it to me. It was like Future, our toxic king.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yo, this is toxic here.
He's toxic. Help him.
Yo,
exactly.
Yeah, one of his lyrics, I've been depressed for 9 years. Well, like,
yeah.
You got people on TikTok and stuff dancing all that, like crazy. Exactly.
Exactly. But it's like, how do you feel like that you're putting that out there for people to consume? It's like we can, like someone that's never met you can listen to your discography from jump and to like where you're at now, and they can 100%. Get like if we drew a graph, they can say, okay, this is when he was feeling this way in life. Exactly. This is when this happened. You know what I mean? How do you feel that that's out there to be consumed?
Crazy.
After listening to the whole thing, they're like best friends. I know you.
Exactly, legit. For me, again, like it goes back to that. Like I said, like that sacrifice. I don't think I look at myself as like I don't have like a personal self, if that makes sense. Like most people, exactly. I'm just an open book. Like I'm trying to walk as the person you see online. If I said something online, that's what I'm gonna say in person too. Vulnerable and just like not really hiding it. Most people, I guess, like shy away from these things that could be very triggering. Like relationship stuff is very triggering. Or even other stuff like that I've said in my music. But for me, it's like at first it was like I would put it in the music, and I would love it so much because it's like a journal, so I'm conveying so much that I resonate with because I'm hearing myself back, and it helps me cope. And then putting it online, it was a bit uncomfortable because people hear it and then they send me paragraphs telling me their own personal stuff. I was like, okay, cool. It's uncomfortable, but it's allowing someone else to open up. And that's when I noticed, okay, cool. Like, how vulnerable can I get, And as I kept making music, I just became more and more vulnerable. And like you said, people who don't focus on like the things that are triggering, they listen to music for that, And that's why we love music so much, because it's able to express the things that we don't want to express ourselves.
This is like something that we were talking about even yesterday, bro, about why do we love sad songs so much?
Because this is the thing for me. Like, I love sad music. I don't know what it is. Honestly, whatever, country music, R&B, could be with Arabic music. If it's sad, I don't know why I'm attracted to it. And I find people like that in general. Like there is a nice feing about depressing yourself. You know what I mean?
Like people love
like depressing your emotions.
I get what you mean.
Cry for help.
Bro, like people love like Marvin's Room is like bro everyone's going to
the guy is sad.
Exactly.
Right? Look at the photo of the cover. Like my guy's going through something in the picture, bro.
100%.
I was saying to this guy, like XXX Tentacion's album 17. I wasn't a huge fan of him. I wasn't a fan of him at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that album, I think whenever it came out, I remember I was working at a factory and I'd drive to and from work and it would be on, right? And it got to a point where I was like, I'm a believer in God, and I kind of felt like it was God kind of going, hey, stop listening to this. Like you're actually putting yourself in a bad place.
Yeah.
And so since then I haven't listened to the album, but it's a really good album. Like, so it's pretty depressing.
Exactly.
I bought 2 grapes for us, my dear, and all this kind of thing. And it's like, Yeah.
It's so interesting, man.
Yeah, I think there's beauty behind like sadness. You know what I mean? Like there is, especially when it's in music. You know.
Yeah. You have those days where it's like, I just want to listen to sad music.
I just want to cry. What?
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Bro, he's definitely crying out for help.
He just said it. Let's end the podcast here.
Let's just talk.
Bro, he's
Have an intervention or something, like, you know.
Hey, but let's run it back to that separating the artist from the person from the music.
Yeah, so you said people can do that, and it's true, right? Because everything's, and it always has been like that. I think now it's just escalated because it's at our fingertips. We go just YouTube, click this song, I like it, next, shuffle.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The whole 6ix9ine thing is a very interesting study in that almost, right? Where it's like people are like, this guy comes on the scene very, what's the word? Aggressive.
Yep.
People can kind of see that he's a fraud, but they're like, the music's catchy. And to be fair, the music was catchy.
Yeah.
Still might be, right? Now,
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, it's number 4.
Yeah, wrong one, Carlos. Thank you.
Oh, they said one.
Yeah.
No.
But comes on the scene, aggressive, music's catchy. Everyone's like, you're clearly a fraud. Things actually happen. Definitely a fraud.
Yeah.
Now it's like kind of weird seeing people still support him when it's like he's a fraud and it's obvious and all this kind of thing. And he's broken the code by which he originally repped, allegedly.
Exactly.
But then now he's still back and aggravating the situation, right? I don't know if you saw, like this week, he's wearing a T-shirt with King Von's face on it or something.
Yeah,
and
I didn't see that.
And he went on live with like guys from Chicago and he's like, rest in piss and all this kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
It's very disgusting, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair, those guys from Chicago also have said many things where it's like, you are hypocritical saying that he's rude for this. But, but that's not here or there. It's just talking about him specifically. It's like, how does that still persist?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because there is a point where you go, I don't know if I can support this.
Exactly.
Surely.
It's too much. Yeah.
Like when antics are too much.
It's just too much. Like, it's more than the music. That's all we know you for.
Yeah. Exactly. Tough. I think it's like, obviously, like there are people who are super aware, super conscious, and they can see those things, you know, and say, all right, cool. Like, I don't want to listen to this guy because of those things. And then there are people who are just like so caught up in the illusion of who he is as an artist, and they look up to that. You know, even though he's done all these bad things, it's like they make an excuse for the person they, like, I guess, worship, if you want to, you know, take it to that extent. And then that just, they excuse that side of him. You know, Kanye West could be a good example as well. You know, a lot of people felt the same way, like off all the things that he had said, you know, in the past. But Kanye West is a different example in the sense that he actually makes amazing music. You know what I mean?
I was saying this to someone.
You know? Kanye
might have his hand in more classics than any artist ever.
Yeah, facts.
Not just his music, but the music that he's helped. I don't think anyone makes. You're talking Dr. Dre.
Exactly. Oh,
and,
that is insane.
And the Motown Records guy, what's his name? Not Berry Gordy, the other one.
Good chat.
Those guys, like you're talking that kind of level.
Yeah, he's albums, man, classic
Yes.
albums back to back. You know.
I want to take the 6ix9ine thing in an interesting direction though, because you mentioned how some people, like, you know, they'll be talking about him saying certain things in a very, like, you know, okay, I'll just say it. Him talking about King Von in a very disrespectful way, someone that's passed away, but it's like you see these artists that are saying the same thing. Actually, they've said the same, like, you know, they've spoken disrespectfully about other people that have passed away. So it's like you can see it's very hypocritical.
Exactly.
So, like, for me, when I saw something like that, I want to kind of compare this to throwback to episode 1 of our podcast. We were talking about LeVar Ball, how he said on the ESPN show,
Switch gears.
like I think the host was like, can I switch gears? Like, I'm gonna switch gears with you real quick in terms of like change the direction of the conversation.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you can switch gears with me whenever you want, and he got cancelled for that.
Because it sounded like he was trying to get sexual.
It sounded like he was trying to.
He was.
Yeah, you could tell like he did not look like he was trying to say it in any kind of way. But it's like, but he got cancelled for that. Like, but like that's just the way the guy is. Like, you know, that kind of giddy uncle that just says everything. So it's like, and I was thinking, I was like, if Idris Elba said that, if Idris Elba was on that show and he said that to her, you know, that's what the reaction would have been a different, like, you know. So I was like, yo, do you guys kind of feel like you can't, not you can't win in this world, you can't win in the world's perception of what a win is unless the world actually approves of course, you as an individual.
Yeah,
but I've said this a million times. Like, creepy and cute is literally based on the perception of who that person is.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you walk past a girl, you tell us. Walk past, you're single, whatever. You walk past a guy and it's a tight space or whatever, and he just goes, oh, you go through and might touch your lower back, something. If it's Idris again, you'll be like, oh my God.
No, some
guy that's catching the bus.
No, if it's Idris,
Ew, don't touch.
No, if it's Idris,
what creep.
Go a little lower.
I don't want to walk past anymore.
No, like, you know.
I mean,
Can we cut that up? Can we cut that up?
Hey, bro, you ain't Idris. You're not Idris. You can't say that.
I'm saying, like, girl, you said that to Idris. But it was like a trash dude that was like, ew, exactly. Like, that's just everything, bro.
It's messed up, but that's how the world is.
With that example, it's the platform that he did it on as well. Like, you're doing it on TV, you know, a lot of people are watching, different backgrounds, different races. And I think we can also, like, admit that some races take things more seriously and further than others. I think with 6ix9ine, a lot of his supporters, I don't know if I'm wrong, but are they like people of color?
Oh.
A bit of both. I think a lot of young teenagers as well.
I think it's a lot of internet.
Yeah, exactly. It's just trolling. Yeah.
So with him, it's like a lot of your young people who are watching him, they're not really gonna be like, oh, he's doing all of this stuff, let's cancel him. Whereas with your example, it's on TV, you have all of these older people watching it. It's like, okay, we're coming to TV, we're coming to watch and hear about sports and all that stuff. Once you make something, you know, sexual, whether it's to the full extent or just, you know, like literally just dipping your toe in, that's a problem.
No,
and
trust
on
me.
TV.
No. On TV, I see some reckless
on a program
things.
like that, though.
But that's your fault because he genuinely wasn't doing anything sexual.
Like, he made a comment that could be perceived as sexual.
But that you
though.
can't comment that was
in the world that we're
someone
living in, the society that we're living in, guys, like everything, everyone's sensitive. So you need to be sensitive. You need to know. You need to know your audience. You need to know the platform that you're on.
Wait, so you think that? You think just because everyone's sensitive, you should be sensitive?
No, if you're on a platform like that, I think you need to cater to that. Definitely.
If
you're on the internet, do whatever you want. It's the internet. People can cancel you and the next day you're fine. But if you're going to go on TV where you know people are already on edge about everything, you do need to censor
you got to read the room.
But it's hard to choose what words and... Because switch gears for me, when I was watching that live, basically, I was just like, yeah, this is a dope interview. Cool. I like what I was saying.
Go on Twitter after, what?
And then it's like, people were screaming about what's being said on that interview. I'm just trying to figure out
like what
was said in that interview that had them tripping. And then it was that part. And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Really interesting that you say that, though, because I'm like, all right, cool. We want to really express individuality in this world, right? You know, especially as an artist and creators, you want to really express that. But how do you fight for individuality, but then also have to live with the experience or the knowledge of, if they say just jump. If they say dance. You know what I mean? In terms of like playing by their rules.
Jump how high?
If they say jump how high, even that's you know what I mean? It's like, how do you try to live with individuality, but also now you go to these type of platforms where that's where you want to get to, because that takes your message to the masses.
Exactly, 100%.
How do you know, have that, but then now have to manage yourself in it? Like, is that you being knowledgeable in terms of being wise
as well? Like, if you play the game how people want you just to make it to the top, you've still got to play the game, because as soon as you stop playing it, you're going to drop all the way down.
Exactly.
That's why I think I love, I don't know if you're aware of Andrew Schultz, the comedian. Literally just came on the scene like, I'm going to piss everyone off, right? Whole podcast called Flagrant, right? And so that's what he's done. Goes to Netflix finally after years, gets a deal, all this kind of thing. Made fun of everyone, every single race, every single gender, every single, I don't know, this is more than two. Like, literally every sexuality, everything, right? And I was like, you can only do that because you set that bar for yourself.
Like,
and it was a much longer game for you. But it's gonna pay off heaps, because now no one can be like, oh my god, And it's like, no, this is what I do.
Sensitive. But yeah, legit, yeah.
Is that the kind of game you're trying to play as well? Like, how do you manage that in terms of like, knowing that you want to be you through and through? You want to be known as Daniel. How did you pronounce your last name? Elia. I was about to say Elia.
You want to be Elia is good too.
Yeah. You want to. You
don't say a liar.
Because you want to be known as Daniel. Oh my gosh, I was about to say it again. You want to be known as you.
I got something I'm gonna try.
Don't even try. It's good.
You want to be known as you,
100%.
So how are you managing that in terms of creating what you know you want to create, and it's your journal, it's your therapy session, it's your expression of you. Yeah. But know that you actually want this to be consumed by a lot more people. I mean, if that's what your goal is, you want this to be consumed by a lot more people. How do you play that? How do you manage that?
I feel like when you get to the top, like you're just gonna get negativity and positivity. Like you're gonna get a bit of both. For me now, I think early on, I decided that, regardless of what happens in my life, I'm just going to be vulnerable. I'm just going to tell my experiences. No matter how hard sometimes it might be, I'm just going to be vulnerable. Like, you can't tell me, stop being vulnerable. But I'm like, this is my experiences, you know what I mean? This is what happened to me. I think the way I think about it is how Dave Chappelle is quite transparent when he does his, like he puts himself in those situations. And he also looks at his flaws at the same time, while commenting on what everyone else's flaws are, and that's how I kind of look at it. If I can be open and transparent and vulnerable on my music, you can't really tell me anything else. You know what I mean? Like, you have nothing to use against me. Because I've already said that.
It's the like 8 Mile theory, right?
Exactly.
Like, okay, I went to private
exactly,
school.
100%.
Okay. What did you just say?
Bro, honestly,
because I realized I messed it up. Because the other guy that went to private school.
Bro, honestly, all I heard was
I heard 8 Mile and then everything else.
Okay, very little sleep recently.
The 8 Mile theory. Like, if you can put yourself out there on the music or whatever it is that you're doing, then there's nothing that people can use to against you, because you've already healed from that.
That's true.
Okay, that's an interesting thing as well. Now, do you write? I mean, I guess you maybe do both, because what we've already heard you say. But do you write from a place of you've kind of already slightly healed, or you're healing in the process of some of these things?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I think it's definitely from a place of like pain, like, okay, I'm going through this. So now I'm gonna like put this in the music, and then as I'm sort of creating the music, like say if I come up with the chorus and then the first verse, I'm already feeling a lot better, because I'm like, oh, this kind of
like that's almost dope, because you can see, that's sick. Okay,
like it's just like my mental is just kind of progressing slowly, and I'm just like, okay, cool, like that first verse is super sad, but it sounds good, like I like it, and then you get to the second verse, and that's when it sounds more like I'm healed. You know what I mean? It's almost like a progression from the beginning of the song.
Because we don't even realize sometimes it takes months for one verse, even sometimes. Like that one song is taking a month for you to just get that verse out. Sometimes it's in the, like off the dome, you've done that in like 20 seconds.
Exactly.
The verse has happened. But it's like, nah, sometimes that one verse, you're constantly going back.
Yeah.
So it's like you can really have different mind frames in that, like between 40 seconds of that song.
Exactly.
Like, because there's 40 days in between that.
Exactly. Even, like, a lot could happen in between the first verse to the second verse.
Really, man,
I think music's so interesting.
A lot of people just don't appreciate music, I've realized, bro, because there's a lot to it, man.
Amazing.
It's a lot to it.
Very amazing.
Yeah.
I legit thought I could make a song in one day.
No one wants
I don't think so.
Where's the support? Hey, tell him.
I always had this question.
Yeah.
Hey,
hold on.
Okay.
Hey,
don't interrupt us.
Don't interrupt
us. Yo, I
didn't realize he was about to.
I could actually blow off from here.
No. Come on,
all right.
He's giving you a beat.
Yo.
Intro, that's it.
Man, give us
Now you gotta wait 40 days.
Let me hear.
Jesus in the wilderness.
Oh, man. All right.
That was a fail. So sorry. That was a fail.
You just started.
The beatboxing was good.
The beatboxing.
Yeah,
So you.
No, he just did. He did the ad lib. He did the intro. You gotta wait for the hook.
Please don't hype him. It's alright. Stick for
40 days is a nice name for a song.
40 days.
We'll hear
That's
it.
dope.
All right, what would you talk about?
You heard it here first.
What would you talk
Taking
about?
that.
Shoot. Temptation?
Temptation. Ooh, yeah. A little bit of Jesus analogy in that.
Hey, man.
We'll chat later.
Yeah, no. So just with social media and just the internet nowadays, you can literally Google anyone's name, and especially if you're an artist, you know, you can find their music videos, you can find their lyrics, you can find, you know, everything that they're doing, right? So with you, there you go.
Like, who's that?
Google search.
Hey, that's sick.
That's so
That
Bro,
is
that is so sick.
Hey, that's levels.
I'll put the photo.
That's
you can
nice.
search your name
That's
when you
nice.
come up just like that, huh? Bro, you search my name up, you might find an uncle in Nigeria, bro.
Celebrity. So yeah, are you ever like cautious of what you put out? Just because I know there's other artists just in, you know, Australia itself where it's like the music that they put out is very like just crazy and bizarre, right?
Yeah.
In terms of what? Crazy and bizarre.
Like sexual? Because I always wanted to ask
aggressive.
this question in terms
There's
of like,
sexual, there's aggressive, because I know you were talking about before, like some people, you know, just talk about that like thug life, that violence life and stuff like that. And in America, I get it because you can actually pop off big by doing that aggressive music and stuff. But here, it's like any employer can really just Google your name and then find that. And it's kind of, so I guess for you, do you ever... You know, just
they have employees in America too.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is over there,
I got
you know,
there's a market for it.
There's a market for it. It's just reliable.
Whereas here, I don't really think there is a market for that violence and stuff. So do you ever like have to be like, okay, I need to censor or I need to like just be cautious of what I'm putting out?
Yeah, I mean, like Australia doesn't like that aggressiveness in hip hop as much. So, I don't think about it that much, to be honest. Like, after this podcast, I'll tell you guys where I work. But pretty much the company I work for, they're high up, and they've like I've had my managers they've heard my music because this company is quite progressive. They allow for employees to just be themselves online. Back then they didn't, you had to represent yourself.
Daniel, if you ever say that again.
Exactly. You know, like your social media had to pretty much represent who you are
at the company.
At the company. But I'm glad I wasn't working there back then because I wouldn't be in the company because I was like, you know, I'm trying to be an artist. I'm not trying to be in this company forever. I'm not trying to work under someone. So, exactly. I
love my job.
Can we cut this part? Can we cut this? But for real, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've got an end goal that I'm trying to get to, and nothing else is going to stop me from getting there, you know? And I have to, in order for me to get there, I've got to represent myself the way I want to, you know, showcase. And that comes from, if you hear my music and then you have a conversation with me, it's the same thing. You know, you see the music videos, it's the same thing. That level of consistency, you know, and a lot of artists don't have that. Like, you hear the music, it's very aggressive. You meet them and they're very shy. So it's like, you know, it's a bit weird in that sense. I try to just kind of keep it consistent. Yeah, it's hard because you're like, I shouldn't have said that, but at the same time, I'm like, that's who I am. Like, I'm Daniel Elia, and that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
I've always had this question for, like, I've never managed to ask an artist it, but it's like, you know, like the super sexualized content, right?
Yeah.
Like, do people not have parents? Like, not even because like, oh, this is rude, but it's like, this is embarrassing. My mom's gonna, because I'm all for the like it's sexual, but it's out of love. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that because it's like you're just telling a facet of life.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you've got like,
it's like, should my clothes out of turquoise?
from the top, mate, all that kind of thing.
nah, legit.
You know?
That's like reckless, bro.
But then it's like, big artist does that. Fair enough. You're already big. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's
a demographic for that.
Exactly. But like when it's a local artist and you've done that and it's like,
hey,
guys, the way I shake your head is gonna be different, bro.
Listen, I'm shaking my head different.
I'm not
heard
sure
your
about
family did it
that. Should I say what's up or should I be like,
Exactly.
I was looking at you crazy and everything.
I get what you mean. Yeah, for me now, I'm at that stage where it's like, you know, the music video that's coming out and stuff like that. You know, there's like swear words here and there. And without giving away too much, but yeah, it was just like I had to speak to either my uncle, mom, and stuff like that about the music. Like, this is what it is, and I had to sort of stand for my art because it's like it's a form of expression, regardless. You know, like if I was lying, then okay, maybe it's a bit weird. Like, why are you lying about a situation? Yeah, exactly. But if I'm being honest, then I'm gonna stand by that and be like, that's my experience. I'm an adult. That's what happened. You know what I mean? yeah, I just have to defend it regardless. You know, it's a tough situation to be in, and you know, having like African parents and stuff like that. You know, but it's like, you know, we're here in the Western world, you know, Western society, and we somehow have to assimilate here. You know,
that's actually crazy how you speak to your uncle and your
bro.
person about it. That's actually something different.
Yeah, instantly I was thinking like a lot of the people I know that like, you know, I'll rap sing. I'm like, yo, like your parents really just don't even they don't know what's going on in your space of music. It's like, yeah, you can see that that's a genuine care about it, because like you're now combining the music and yourself and saying this is me and what I do.
Exactly. And like what I believe in is like, when the money comes in, nobody cares what you say on the track. You know what I mean?
From there, you say whatever you want to
say.
Because one of my friends, he did a music video and he was smoking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I know.
And then my guy was chilling with us. Is like, hey man, I heard my mom saw the music video. I don't know what she thinks.
Legit, bro. That's
like that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like 100%. He doesn't know what she's gonna think of that. She's about to see it for the first time.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. And like sometimes like what you see in the music video isn't like real. You know, like it could be a cinematic look. You know what I mean? It could be a fake cigarette, whatever it is that you have. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean anything, but I think the parents seeing it's a different image of who you are. You're my son. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You know what's different about what you're doing in terms of talking about that now is that, you know, you said like a lot of people, when the money comes in, no one cares anymore. It is what it is, yeah. Exactly. But the difference now is, sure, they won't care, but they've been able to support it from the beginning.
100%.
Well, that's actually a question I was going to ask. So like you said, you told them because you want to tell them like, this is who I am, but then I guess on their end, it's like, did they accept it and would they support, or did they just go, or was it just a disagreement and that's it?
No, initially, yeah. Like, you know, initially it was like, maybe like it was more so like maybe find a different hobby, different career, like, you know, or get like a good job or whatever. And then now they can see, okay, this person is very committed and they've been doing it for years. And so now it's like, be safe when you do it. Also be careful with what you do. And then it's going to get to a level, because I'm also like, I'm really into film. So throughout my music videos, I try to convey a certain story.
That's nice.
And the extension of that could be seeing a stripper, or could be seeing, you know what I mean? Like whatever that I need to put in the video to get the story across. Because there's always going to be a deeper meaning behind it regardless. But yeah, so it's like, when it gets to that level, they're going to be like, yeah, you know, it's going to be a bit difficult, but I feel like that's where I'm headed towards regardless.
Who inspired you growing up, like musically?
Initially Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, like them two, I was just listening to them like every day. And then Kanye, Jay-Z. And then I had to go back, because like I came into this scene like when I was 20. So like I wasn't listening to Tupac or Biggie or like any of these, you know, like pioneers. I was mostly listening to like, because I used to dance, so I was listening to like Chris Brown, like, you know, Akon. I'm like ashamed to say it, but you know, like Akon,
Cinematic even maybe.
I don't know. Support your local, you know. Timbermatic, you know, like you know, just you know. But yeah, like you know, just listening to stuff that I wouldn't listen to as an artist.
Right.
But now I'm kind of like, my ears are a bit more tuned. I would listen to lyrics and things like that. I listen to a bunch of artists now. I'm listening to mostly like jazz at the moment, because I'm like, you know, like jazz is definitely something I want to do when I'm 40. Like play a saxophone or something, you know what I mean?
Yo,
like,
what's yesterday we're in the car, right? This whole conversation on music, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna pick up the saxophone.
What? That's crazy.
Like saxophone, trumpet or something.
We were listening to one Kirk Franklin song, saxophone, and we were like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this.
You got to do it.
Interesting fact, I actually learned it for a year, and it was pretty dope.
Wait, what?
And then I played in the school, like musical thingy.
I think you mentioned
That's crazy.
Yeah, I played in the band, so it's actually pretty interesting instrument. Yeah.
You know how to play any instruments?
Yeah.
I taught myself how to play the piano. Like, I can perform if I want to, but I mainly just use it for like just producing and stuff. And then get a little bit of guitar. Yeah, that's about it. But
are you a concert goer? Like, do you enjoy going to concerts?
Yeah, I've only been to like maybe like 4 or 5 concerts. Like, that's it. Nah, I haven't been to Kendrick or J. Cole. That's crazy, right?
That Good Kid, Mad City concert, man.
Bro.
I heard about it, bro.
Both are incredible performances.
You went to both?
Yeah, well, so when Eminem came here 2014,
I remember
he
that,
had both of them open up.
That's crazy.
And some others as well, right? And so at that time, it was interesting. At that time, I was like, J. Cole's such a good performer. Kendrick he has really good music. Not that good of a performer, right? Comes back a couple years later, I go to just Kendrick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's crazy how much better your show has gotten. And he had
because his music elevated too, man.
Yeah.
That album.
Insane. Then you see his Grammy performances and everything. It's cinematic, right? It's pretty unreal. He had a jazz musician open up. That was his opening act when
that's
he came
amazing.
solo.
Yeah.
It was very different. I was like,
So
that's
good.
again an artist loving art.
Exactly.
You could have any rapper open up.
Exactly. I went to a Childish Gambino and Drake's concert. Childish Gambino's concert was amazing, bro. It was like so many different creative elements. Like there was the film side of it. Like he was acting at some point.
Yeah.
And then there was like him singing and then rapping, dancing. And they had all these lights happening, like this 3D augmented type stuff happening. It was just like very like futuristic. He has a lot of money. That's all I gotta say.
But he's an amazing creative.
But the
'Cause
guy
I'm not a huge fan of the music,
bro.
I know, bro.
but
Crazy.
he does everything and he does it all well.
You
have to watch
the scary part.
Feels Like Summer music video, right?
Is that the one with
it's an animated one, right?
Yeah.
And it's literally every like rapper and their issues are drawn in it, and it's
Very
like you have
detailed,
to
man.
read through the whole list. Someone, people break it down in the comments.
Yeah.
Like at this time it's this and this and this and that, and they're playing with the water hose because of this, and it's like,
insane.
yo, you're a genius.
He's actually a genius, bro.
Amazing. Like
Acting,
even I think there's
music.
little details, like there's the Migos and someone else, and they're like, oh, see, Takeoff was left out because the whole. I was like, this is cool. This is cool.
It's so dope. It's
I like
crazy.
him, bro. He's a good guy, bro.
Even his acting as well, directing,
the comedy,
all that.
Comedy
man.
too. How?
There you go.
No, like legit how, bro.
Exactly. Like, he's another human, bro.
I guess I want to ask, without you revealing too much, obviously, because you want to build anticipation, but like what kind of story can people kind of expect from the music video that's coming out? So I think this will, maybe don't say when it's coming out, but I feel like this
definitely won't.
is it going to be a bit still?
Yeah.
Okay, so this episode will probably be out
It's soon,
before.
but like not.
Yeah, cool.
Like,
So like, what kind of story can people kind of expect?
I think they'll be
What are you
like
trying to tell? Yeah,
it's just like watching it. Like every time I watch it, it trips me out because of what's in the music video. It trips me out in the sense that no one has seen something like that in a music video from an artist, from a rapper or a hip hop artist in Australia. I'm kind of hyping it, but
that's dope. That's cool because that's how we feel about literally the content that we've been shooting.
Yeah, tell them.
Right? Like not even the podcast, because we've been doing other things, right? Which hopefully will be coming out in a couple weeks from when this episode drops.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that's a cool feeling.
It's exciting.
I get it. Yeah,
exactly. Like it's that exciting where I'm like, I can't just drop it like that. I've got to, I've had this music video since October last year.
Yo,
so I've been just like waiting, and I'm like, damn, like it felt like I wasn't doing anything because I had it with me and it's not out there. But I think when it drops, I think it's definitely, like I said, like it's just gonna cement that transition from Daniel who makes music to Daniel Elia, and then from there everything's just gonna go up from there, And then I just gotta jump into the next thing and try to accomplish what I just released, but even like better. Yeah,
that's the worst part of like trying to like be better yourself.
Exactly.
Why do I have to be greater?
But you know what even it is. I think we always have that concept of like you have to be.
Outdo the last.
You have to outdo yourself in different levels of life, and not even only music or creatively. It's like even in terms of like job or uni, relationship. It's
Everything.
like we need to maybe shift from this thing of like I'm outdoing myself, but it's like I'm actually building upon the foundation of who I was then.
Exactly.
Because you have a whole lot more experience and education. And resource and stuff. It's like you're not outdoing yourself. You're literally it's development,
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you don't have to keep like a lot of us, compete with themselves. We talk about Drake and stuff. Like everyone's always saying, "Yo, it's hard for Drake to drop a crazy thing now because he just has all of this. How can he outdo himself at this point?" But it's like we need to actually start to realize that people are just developing, and it's like look at them.
Exactly.
Do you see a transition? Do you see it change? Because change is what's more important. It's like, do you see that they've actually grown in some kind of way? If someone is at this level, it's not necessarily that they can't outdo themselves anymore, but it's like maybe they just haven't actually developed in any kind of way.
Exactly.
So it's like development is more so what you know what you be doing.
Well, they're saying the next Kendrick album's a rock one.
A rock.
Yeah, it's rock like influenced. Yeah. So that's cool to see. Like, it's changed.
It's development, man. Yeah,
it's a different thing.
I feel like we don't allow that for people nowadays and stuff like that. We actually don't allow people to develop. You know, like
consumers just want more. It's like, all right, you give us this, but we want more. It's that idea of like accessibility with internet. Like,
but it makes sense though. You know, it's like if you drop this, I'm expecting the next one to be on the same level, to be better than this as well.
Yeah.
Like if you drop a movie, then it's like I'm expecting the next movie to also be better than the movie you just dropped.
But I feel like we kind of subconsciously hold people down to a certain level sometimes.
It's like a balance, because let's take Kendrick. Kendrick's a great example, right? Where it's like no album sounds the same.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what he's gotten us used to is a great album, not good rap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And so we don't hold him to, hey, we're expecting good rap out of you. We're just expecting a great album.
Yeah.
Right? And
exactly. It's that
surprise
expectation.
Yeah.
We just need to like.
So what about artists who kind of drop the same thing?
Long Day.
That's what I'm saying. For example, like when I think of like Lil Baby or something,
Yeah.
you know, he's not the type to go, okay, jazz or rock or this.
No, but you see the development in what he's dropped recently in terms of like this was a socially conscious piece, an album as well. It's like this is different to like
there is growth.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like whatever it was before, it's like you can see the growth. So it's like I feel like where I was going is like even just your friends. People want to go into different lanes and start to do different things with their life, but we don't recognize. We're like, oh, so what are you trying to do now? It's like, yo, this person's trying to actually develop and understand who they are. It's interesting how, like, you know, for you with the dance crew, you're all able to go your separate ways. I mean, you're all doing music now, but it's like you allowed each other to do that as opposed to, and even some people might have received that in a weird way for you initially. Like some people be like, yo, wait, why what's this? What are you trying to do music now? Why are you trying to do this whole artist thing? It's like, nah, stick to what you're doing. But it's like, we need to actually allow people to go through that period of like actually trying to develop and like, you know.
Exactly.
Like I can even speak for myself, for example. It's like when we first started doing like YouTube, like back in the days, I can tell my parents are like, what the heck is this? You know, like literally, like in their mind, they're like, what are you doing now? Like, where is this supposed to take you? You know, like we don't hold any animosity towards any of the guys because we're not doing that anymore and stuff like that. But it's like that's why we're able to be doing this. Like that's why I have a confidence to understand that people want to digest the content that I put out. It's like that development of like trying different things is very, very needed. But we live in a world where it's like, we don't really allow people to kind of like do that in a weird way, you know?
Exactly. So, I think for me, like being the artist and always trying to achieve something greater is like, I sometimes forget to be grateful for the things I've already put out. You know what I mean? Because I put it out and I'm like, all right, cool, that was a moment.
What's next?
Now I'm trying to focus on next. And then you start stressing out because you feel like you haven't done enough. And I think as soon as you start being grateful for like the things you've done and the journey you've sort of, you know, come through, then the next thing is much easier because you're like, I've already accomplished this. I'm not really starting from scratch. I'm just, again, like adding a layer to what I've already done and just trying to keep stacking up the layers. Yeah, that's something that I've just sort of noticed recently. And that's why I also like made that whole post as well, just to kind of like, just
look back at it. Yeah,
look back at the journey and be like, you know,
get it?
not like that.
Yo, so this is how things went wrong with LeVar Ball.
You see, now I know what happened to LeVar Ball.
Wow.
Hey, pause, man. Homeboy said, look back at it. Well, it sounded like 2 Chainz on that track.
I was just like,
oh man, that's crazy.
Wait, what? Legit.
I mean, I guess another question is like, what do you do aside, like, you know, aside from the music and stuff? Like, what do you do to just chill out, to vibe? Like, what else do you fill your time with then, man?
Like listen to music.
When you're not making it,
exactly. When I'm not making it, I'm listening, and I'm like, because I also like, you know, I want to be able to like be here for like, you know, long time. Like, you know what I mean? Longevity. Like I feel like I just started, so I'm always thinking ahead. What can I add? What can I learn for the music to evolve? But besides, I guess like music and stuff like that, I play like basketball with friends and stuff like that. Obviously like a 9 to 5 as well, just to be able to invest into the music. I guess the bigger picture is really just like, just creating something, because like Melbourne has such a big market in terms of business, whatever it is, you know what I mean, for people like ourselves, and just making sure that music is just that one element, you know, where you have all these other things that you can accomplish as well through the music.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, just looking into that and just thinking of the future and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, this is to all of us then. Like, what do we feel like we need then in Melbourne? Like, it's sure, it's saying we have all this potential, this, you know, we can grow. Like, what? Okay, so what are we missing then? Like, why aren't we having that? Like, what do we need? Yeah,
I think it goes back to what Noah was saying earlier. Like, we need to be able to come together and then create something all together.
Melbourne has to support each other.
Yeah, because individually we're amazing, right? Individually we're amazing. Individually, the podcast is amazing. This person is amazing. So what? But if you all work together and do something all together, get like this upcoming DJs who are killing it right now. Get this person who will come together and say, okay, cool. What can we do? Right? What kind of event can we do? And there's so much that we can do. You know, you performing, the DJs doing their thing. You know, we coming on doing our thing as well. You know, people just enjoying things, merch and everything. That's how we can create a proper platform down here. But we're not doing that though.
Yeah, exactly.
Set it up then.
Set it up.
I think, you know, I think it's like what you said earlier. You know, like about making a festival with all you know, with all local artists and stuff like that, and then, you know, having the podcast being there too. You know what I mean? Like just stuff like that.
Backstage
you know,
interviews.
Exactly. Like you know, doing that and then just organizing it. You know what I mean? Like just putting something together. And then making that consistent. Because I feel like those things do happen, but it's like once in a while. You know what I mean? It lacks that consistency. So as soon as we have that consistency, then the industry, the Australian industry is going to look back and say, all right, cool. These guys are
this
profitable.
is a movement now.
We can make money off this. You know, the labels here, the media here, they haven't noticed that yet. But in America, they've done it because, you know, it's developed and stuff. But here, they're still trying to figure out whether we can make them money. Whatever, you know, but I feel like soon that consistency will happen.
They're looking, but there's nothing happening though.
There's not a consensus. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like that. That's what it is. So it's like this is just
where should we direct
you're doing your thing. But imagine pulling that together. Like Snapchat maps. You know when a lot of people are posting a story in the area, it gets like it looks like the temperature chart. Like it's hot. There's a clutter. Right now it's just spots everywhere. Like quiet. You know.
Snapchat is whack though.
Thank you. Thank you. The only people that are keeping Snapchat alive is black people.
Yeah, legit. Right?
No one else uses it.
I use that thing quite a bit.
That's how you feel?
He's offended.
He loves it.
I'm kind of hurt.
Speaking of social media, bro, I want to ask you, where do you get the name Stretching Like Luffy from for Instagram?
If you know, you know.
So that's what it is then.
Yeah, like One Piece, bro.
Yeah.
You up to date?
Episode 900.
You pretty much up to date because I started again because I forgot what it was. Noor has exited the chat. Noor and Maro have exited the chat.
Anime, bro. Oh man, you're missing
The
out.
only one I watch is the Boondocks.
Oh,
I watch it again and again and again.
It's classic. It's a classic. But yeah, One Piece is just dope, man. I remember like when I was 5. Like, I don't know, we had anime on our TV, so I watched Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. Couldn't understand shit, you know, but you know, like 20 years later, I'm back again watching.
So like, dope, bruv. I would never stop watching anime.
Stories as well.
I love it, bro.
The story's still going, man.
I would never stop, bro.
Fam,
it's there.
Anime is life, bro.
It keeps you grounded, bro.
It's very deep. It's very deep.
Nah, it's very deep. Like, it's better than some of the films out there.
Oh, 100%, man.
Bro.
So just cartoons.
Cartoons?
No.
Hey, hold on.
The commitment, determination.
That's like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. Like
this is not Kids Next Door, right?
Exactly.
Did you watch Ed, Ed and Eddie?
Huh?
Did you watch Ed, Ed and Eddie?
I don't know.
I did, yeah.
I did,
So there's something in common with all of you guys. You watched it as well.
No, but then Ed and Eddie is like...
It's not anime, but there's a pattern, because that was a weird show.
Oh, of course it was a weird show. I watched it.
There's so many theories about that show, too.
They said the creators were on, like, they were tripping all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bro, my thing is, I watched everything, bro.
Courage the Cowardly Dog. I think it might be the same writers.
Yeah.
But that one, you're watching it out of the dog's perspective. That's why he's always terrified.
The dog is crazy.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
But you're out of the dog's perspective, but outside.
Exactly.
That's why you can see him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of deep.
It's so deep.
Yeah.
But now you got to watch anime. Take it to the next level.
Bro,
And maybe I should start something.
You should start something.
We'll give you a care package. We'll give you a care package.
Help him out, man. Help him out,
74,000 episodes.
Yeah. A little Bleach.
Bleach is good too.
Bleach is calm because it's not too much. Or Death Note. You know what I'm saying?
I reckon Death Note.
Because it's not too many.
What about Seven Deadly Sins?
Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, that's cool. That's
yeah,
clear.
but
I remember the first time.
It's too spicy.
I
I
just
don't
said something that I've heard of.
I don't think you're ready.
They go,
Seven Deadly Sins is unnecessarily spicy though. You know what I mean? It has
too
some
much.
weird scenes. You're
The
like, whoa.
last one would be crazy. Yeah.
How about The Alchemist?
Shoot.
Oh,
The Alchemist.
Yeah,
You got old school now, huh?
Alright, we'll chat. We'll help you out.
And look,
Interesting.
we'll help you with
Maybe
the
I'll start
quick,
something. Yeah.
you know, 50% kind of anime.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like,
50,
wow,
yeah.
even
50
brought
is a
it.
good start.
Yeah, wait,
That's okay. Yeah. If it's
Wait,
20
wait,
minutes
what
each,
you think?
we'll
They're
watch
like
it
20
over
minutes. Yeah, yeah.
2
15
weeks.
minutes without the highlights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why I brought it up though is because when I first saw your Instagram name,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
back, you know, like the first time I ever saw it, I was like, oh, I wonder if this maybe, like, does this incorporate into your music somehow?
Yeah, yeah,
I thought maybe that had a kind of relation to it, but it's like, that's just the name, eh? It's
That's just the name because I like, you know, the show, but
Yeah.
it's also just like, I think like Luffy being a pirate, like king, or like him wanting to become king of pirates, you know, chasing the one
Grand
Piece.
Line and the One Piece and that.
Exactly. For me, I kind of related back to like, I'm making music, trying to become
Act like
the
you know
best that
well.
I can, but
something,
and like the One Piece for me is not really the treasure, but more so just like finding peace.
One
Y'all
piece.
see what anime does?
That's
You
all.
hear the
Mate,
bar?
Yeah, I
after
heard the
that,
bar.
got
I heard the
shit.
bar.
Hey, that's it.
So, yeah,
That's it, bro. Hey, we messed it up. We're still trying to figure it out.
Let me go.
There we go.
Hey,
There we
that's
go.
it, bro.
You see, this is what anime
100%.
does to you, bro.
I'm telling
it
you,
makes
bro.
you think.
Brings people
So does
together.
everything else.
Nah, trust.
It brings people
Living
together, makes
itself
you
is-
think, you know.
Nah, that's
Nah,
it.
maybe
Makes
we'll
you
give it a
smart.
go.
Yeah.
We'll try it.
You should do like an anime podcast, like episode.
Yeah, hey, after we put them on one
Yeah,
day, we'll
then
chat
let's see
about
what
it.
they
Now
say.
I'm thinking of a
Legit.
name. Maybe I should go slice it like Zorro.
Daniel. It's kind of that one.
No, I heard what he said.
Nah, it's kind of fire.
He said slice it like Zora.
He said slice it like Zoro.
Yeah.
Zora's
Ready, wait. Shoot it like Yusuf.
Oh,
man like Hamza.
no, what? Wait, no.
Okay,
Okay.
you know, you ruined it. You ruined it.
Hey, can you pan the camera this way?
Bro, what are you doing?
Nah,
Go
that's
say
it.
like Luffy, slice it like
Like
Zorro.
Zorro.
And shoot it like Yusuf. Come on, man.
Done.
Nah, hey,
don't think gotta-
what's his
The chef?
Yeah, what's his
The
name?
Sanji.
again? Chef it like Sanji.
Cooking like shit. Oh,
Cooking like Sanji. Yeah.
Hey, there's ideas.
Don't
I'm
tell
telling
him.
you.
Yeah, long day.
Hey, that's another episode. That's another episode.
Interesting.
Oh man, but nah, that's dope, man. Yo, yeah,
Hey, we should actually have a podcast just on anime.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
man, have to set
You
that
guys
up.
need
You
to
guys
do
can
it.
do that.
Yeah, man. Hey, I saw this meme once. This is random. I saw this meme. It's like black people or black guys that watch anime. Like, there's a picture of Spider-Man like holding a bus.
Oh, yeah.
that's about to crash a kid. Yeah,
Bro.
like the bus is coming to get, and it's like the kid that put like anime watches or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Asian anime watches or fans on the kid.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like the bus is
It's
like the haters and the black people are
It's
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
The
bro,
black guys that
legit.
watch anime are holding it down for everyone else, bro.
telling you,
Because we're making it like, nah, yo, guys, trust. We got
Watch it, watch
They're
it.
listening to us
Exactly.
and we say it, bro. Like,
Exactly, bro.
Oh man.
Telling you, bro. There's so many like even references in hip hop as well.
the
like-
references-
Yeah.
Wale is a massive anime guy.
yeah, I'm
It's
telling you.
Very weird.
Love these guys,
Crazy.
bro.
They love it.
Travis Scott, Big Sean, all these
Yeah,
donnies
exactly.
watch anime too, you know what I'm saying?
apparently up to date with One Piece.
Huh?
They're
They're up to date, yeah,
with
with all the
One Piece.
stuff.
really? Of
Nah, I
course.
don't know.
Nah, that was a lie.
Yeah, man. But anyways, bro, what else can we look forward to, though, man? Like, you know what I mean? Aside from obviously the music video is coming out, so for
Man.
sure we'll check that out when it comes out.
Yeah,
you know?
so music video at the moment, just that. Yeah, I don't want to give too much
Yeah,
because
nah,
again, like,
yeah.
like I
When
think
happens,
packaging is very important,
100%.
and that's what I learned. Just making sure I package things a certain way.
Yeah.
But there's definitely going to be like an album this year, and then working on other things as well. Collaboration. I'm trying to really like get same artist,
Yeah.
same album,
Yeah.
if it's possible. But we'll just see how the rest of the year pans out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess just really more music, more content.
No, that's
That's what's up, man.
where can they follow you?
Stretching like Luffy, on Instagram, and then everything else is just I am Daniel Elia.
Yeah. Dope,
Yeah,
man.
you just type Daniel
Like we
Elia
saw
on Google,
before,
and then
on
you'll
Google
find
it
me. You
pops
know
up,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly, but yeah, I'm everywhere pretty much. Yeah.
Is this yellow beanie iconic? Because I think in that photo on Google, it was also the beanie up.
Yeah. I started
You know
off with
what's
the orange beanie.
What's crazy? Luffy got the same thing,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying. But they don't know. It's on purpose. They don't know.
That's true.
They They don't know. They don't know.
Oh,
It's very subtle.
Yeah,
very subtle.
That's sick.
It's very subtle. But yeah, I started off with like the orange beanie, and then the yellow beanie is sort of like evolution as well, and everything is kind of a bit of yellow as well. And then I'm just trying to like use colors for promotion and marketing as well.
Yeah, because even the text font, the font is yellow for this new thing coming out as well.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, because like
what I mean, artists that
it's like the little things,
These guys are a true artist, right?
Hey, thank you, bro.
Nah, that's dope, man. Hey, man, that's it.
Make sure you follow at stretching like Luffy, Luffy.
No way he knows it.
That's it. He knows it.
Because I definitely said Luffy before.
He said Luffy. Luffy. He went to Instagram, was like, what is Luffy?
Bro.
Then I was like, no, it's Luffy, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
And make sure you run up the numbers on YouTube, on Spotify. Stream Thamania out now.
Yeah.
Or out for a while, but
Exactly,
new stuff
that's
coming
it.
soon as well. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next episode. Stay safe, stay
That's it.
humble.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Boom. That was
There we go.
a beautiful episode.
Bro. Damn, that was dope.